Good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1335. It is the hell day is it? It's Thursday. Thursday. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Hobby Evolution. The Goodwill pallet is secured. You can see a mess behind me. If I move over here, no mess over there, but you can see a mess behind me. Goodwill pallet. I'm going to talk about the Goodwill pallet. What have I found so far? I've gone through. Well, I haven't gone through very much. I've gone through some. Still some boxes in my car. So digging through it, I'll tell you what my thoughts are on this Goodwill pallet. I'll share some of the good, and I'll tell you about some of the bad with not just this Goodwill pallet, but with all Goodwill pallets. And it's not all rainbows and unicorns and Mike Trout first Bowman Chrome autographs in these Goodwill pallets. Sometimes there's junk. So a friend of mine by the name of Cooter mentioned to me yesterday, he's like, you should reserve a space for all the bulk from your Goodwill pallet to show how much goes into the bulk that's not really sellable inventory, which is a good idea. Now that I have a storage unit, I have a spot and space that I can do that. So I very well might do that. So Victor's here and he says it's cold, waiting for some light snow. How about that? 2 days ago, I'm like, God, it is really warm. It was in the 50s the other day, like 2 days ago, Tuesday. And I'm like, man, it's really warm. And then last night, I'm outside and it's like, Jesus, it's fucking cold. And there's snow on the ground. We got snow. I look outside and it's like, oh, it's very nice. I'm okay with snow this time of year. Absolutely okay. Now, a few years ago, we had like 8 inches of snow on Halloween. No. I am very particular when I want my snow. Let's give it a few days into November. Let's give it a week into November, and then it can snow. 8 inches, kind of a bit much for this. We got to ease into it. Let's just, like today, wake up. There's some nice ground cover of snow. It's picturesque. Let's start with this. This is a good start. This is our first snowfall. Very light, no shoveling required. Let's ease into it, and then we can get some snow. Now, after like January, then it's like, I don't want any snow, which I'm living in the wrong state for that, but here we are. So I love snow in November and December. By January, it's like, okay, I get it. It's January, but February, it's like, okay, let's be done with the snow. Let's start warming up. I know it's still going to be cold in February, but it's a short month. We can handle it. March, bring on the sun. Let's creep into the 50s, 60s by the end of the month, 70s. That just doesn't happen here. Now, that would happen every once in a while where I grew up, like just a few hours south. We would get like 60s and 70s in March. Not here. And that's one thing when I think my very first job interview here in Madison took place in March. And it was one of those days. Was it? Yeah, I think my very first interview was on a Saturday. And it was one of those like beautiful days back in Macomb. Now, Macomb was a little further from where I grew up, but like 4 hours south. It was one of those like my friends are playing bags in the backyard. It's 70 degrees. And then here in Madison, it's like 55. And I'm like, what in the hell? Like, you can't play. This sucks. So that's the only difference. Like, we get the same amount of snow. We get the same cold. But that spring comes a little later here. It's kind of like it follows the path of the morel mushrooms, just comes north. Or the other way around, the leaves change, goes from north to south. So we've got a little snow on the ground. My heat went out in my car, which is, I guess it's better to have it go out now when it's like we're kind of entering winter, as opposed to like January, it's 30 below zero and you lose your heat. So I've got a appointment for Monday morning. So it's 9:15. But we're just gonna do the old. Oh, there's a reason why I'm yawning and why I'm late this morning. Where was I at? And I'm a little foggy. I need that mushroom coffee. So I'm just gonna drop the car off. However, slight problem. I'm gonna be driving to Chicago with no heat in my car. So that's a problem. And my wife's like, why don't you rent a car? I've been down this path before. It's like Cubs convention. I don't want to be late for Cubs convention. I will rent a car just to drive to the train station and park it the entire weekend. When it comes to actually driving to Chicago, fuck it. I'll just bundle. I'll bundle up. I've got gloves. The good thing though is half my body can be warm because my seat warmer still works. It's just the vents, the heat in the car. I don't know what that means, but I'll find out on Monday. Hopefully it's not too expensive. So heat has gone out of my car. It might have went out like a week ago. It hasn't been warm enough, or it hasn't been cold enough to really use the heat. Or when it's been on, I just haven't noticed. It's like, until yesterday. It's like, ooh, crank that heat. It's not working. You can't control alt delete the heat in your car, or plug it, unplug it, and plug it back in. That's the extent of my technical savvy. It doesn't work, doesn't extend to vehicles. Brian says, a Ford car having issues. I feel like only F-150s don't suck. This is actually this is my, God dang. Here's the funny thing. I grew up in a Chevy household. My dad Ford was the enemy. T206 kid says 1,500. I don't like the sound of that. That's expensive. Fuck. So I grew up in a Chevy household, and Ford was the enemy in my house. And it was like, oh, Ford and John Deere were the enemy, because my dad worked for Case when I was a kid. They closed the plant in the 80s. So Ford was the enemy, and I don't know why, but I think it was, so when I worked in radio, and this was like my first or second year in radio, I needed a new car. And I think one of our sponsors was a Ford dealership in Macomb, Mack Ford at the time, which I think it's Woodrum's. I think Woodrum's bought like every dealership in town now in Macomb. So I think Mack Ford was like one of our big sponsors at the radio station. So my boss was like, go to Mack Ford. And I'm like, oh, it's Ford. I'll check it out. Don't tell my dad. So I went and I looked, and I'm like, oh, a Ford Explorer. This looks cool. And I remember my co-host says, now this is back in 2003 or 4. Might have been early 04, because I think I bought it 03. It was like only 1-year-old, low miles Ford Explorer. They call them Exploders, but mine was great. And I remember my coworker saying, said, don't get an SUV. Gas prices are going to go crazy, and you're dumb. Don't get an SUV. Buy an economical car. And I'm like, no, because I was like 22. I'm dumb. No. I want an Explorer because it's cool and I can put stuff in it, but not a truck. I don't want a truck. I want an SUV. So I went to Mack Ford, saw black Ford Explorer. I like it. I test drove it. I bought it. My coworker's like, oh, why did you do that? Because I think at this point in time, this is like early 2004, gas prices are like $1.50. Like gas prices were super cheap at that time. And I'm like, gas prices are $1.50 because again, I'm 22. I don't think past tomorrow. My coworker was a little older, a little wiser, and he understood how the world works. I didn't. I could barely boil water. So I bought the Ford Explorer. I'm like, yeah, it's $1.50. Remember, I'm working in radio. My monthly paycheck is about the car payment that I'm paying on this Ford Explorer. Fast forward, I don't know, several months, maybe a year. Gas prices go to like $4 a gallon, like more expensive than what they are today back in 04 or 05. And I'm like, and maybe not 4, maybe it was like 3, but still like around what they've been here recently. And all of a sudden it's like now my entire paycheck's going to my car payment, and the other and more of that, putting my gas on a credit card because I can't afford all of this stuff. Anyway, when I got the Ford Explorer, my dad's like, and he was accepting. I think he was getting older. If he was getting older, and he was like softening up his stance and he didn't care. My mom, now it's also like it was 2 hours away and it wasn't in his driveway except for on, weekends here and there. Ford in the driveway. Of course, all his friends were giving him shit because his son brings a Ford to town. And then my mom decided she liked the Ford Explorer as well. And I don't think she bought a Ford Explorer. She might have bought, actually her first Ford might have been an Explorer. That my dad struggled with. So that Ford lasted, man. So I bought it in early 04. It might have even been late 03 when I bought that thing. Might have been late 03 now that I think, because I started that job in April of 03 and I had a Dodge Avenger, and that thing, talk about fucking lemons. I had a Dodge Avenger that, oh my God, I put twice as much into shop bills than what I did into the car itself. Dodge Avenger, that thing was a lemon. So it might have been later in 03. And then I had it until, goddamn, I had that Explorer until I was working at the university still, and it had 175, 180,000 miles, which I know isn't, there's cars on the road that have a lot more than that, but I think I bought it, had less than 20,000 maybe on. Yeah, because it was a year old when I bought it. So might have only had like 10,000 miles when I bought it. Like 175, 180,000 when it finally puked. And then I got a Ford Edge. My mom had bought Ford Edge, and I'm like, yeah, I don't need a Ford Explorer. So I got a Ford Edge. An Escape. Ford Escape was my first one. Small SUV. I'm like, the Edge is like midway between an Edge, Ford Escape, Ford Edge, Explorer, and then you go into like the Expeditions and the Excursions and those big tanks. Didn't need those. So yeah. So in the Ford Edge I ended up just trading it off for a Ford Escape, traded it off for a Ford Edge. That was a lease. So I traded off as part of the lease. I leased my first Ford Edge. And then I just ended up buying outright the different Ford Edge, which is what I'm driving today. Now the last Ford Edge I had was brand new, and of course but there was no like issues with it. Now this Ford Edge is a little older, and this is my first issue with it. So it's got about closing in on 100,000 miles. It's 37 in Korea right now, and it's a little colder here. 31 right now. We've got some car talk in the house, and I don't like cars. Like I'm kind of with, I think I saw Max's comment. Now I disagree with the barbecue comment. But Cars are cars. Like, they get me from point A to point B. I understand not all cars are the same. So I kind of agree and kind of disagree. I more disagree, I guess. A vehicle to me is a vehicle, but I understand in the grand scheme, that's not the case. Like barbecue, like there's a big difference in barbecues. Max just doesn't like barbecue, so he doesn't care one way or another. Same with vehicles, and that's how I am with vehicles. I don't care. Ford Edge, 5 years old, 6, 7, 8 years old, I don't care. Ford, I don't care. I'm not selling luxury real estate. I don't need a fancy car. I'm not a gearhead. I don't need a fancy car. I need a car or an SUV that I can put a bunch of, like a Goodwill pallet of baseball cards in the back of it. That's all I need. And preferably one with working heat. John says, buy a heated vest and plug it into your USB. There you go. I didn't even know they made heated vests. I'm in my basement all day. I don't go outside. I don't even have a pair of like boots. I have a pair of like work boots that double as that are never worn as actual work boots, but they are my snow boots. So I didn't know. I know they made hand warmers, but heated vests is new technology that I'm unaware of. I wouldn't even know where to buy one. Amazon, maybe Farm and Fleet. I bet Farm and Fleet has heated vests. Brian says false Max. Toyota is superior almost always in cars. And see, but I'm kind of with Max. It's like, but it's Toyota. I don't want, but I do know Toyota makes SUVs. And I understand there's like safety ratings and there's, Toyotas last longer and all that stuff. I get it. But from my point of view, it's like, just give me a car. Just here's your money. Here's your money. I just want to drive the car. Let's see. Max never understood. I'm skipping some chats. We'll get back to the rest. We'll go back to the top. I'll talk about the Goodwill pallets and all that. Max has never understood the whole Ford versus Chevy thing. Same shit gets you from point A to point B. I think it's more, I don't think you hear it as much today as you used to. I think it's an old school, like back in the day when cars weren't just cars. Like now, I think for the most part, cars are kind of all built the same. But back in the day, and I know this because you can hear the old timers say, well, now they got all these computers. You can't even work on your car anymore. You can't even change the oil. You can't even be a man if you can't change your own oil. And that's why my dad always had classics. His daily driver at the end was a 69 Chevy pickup truck because he could work on it. He could change the oil because he was a man. He changed his own oil. These new cars with computers. So I think that's where the Ford, Chevy, Mopar debate is kind of outdated now because it's just not, they're all computers. They're all, at least that's what my dad always said. These new cars, they're just all computers. Brian says, if you want a car education, I don't, by the way, watch any Scotty Kilmer channel video. You're likely to learn something. And Max doesn't either. Me and Max, we don't care. Our cars are getting us from point A to point B. That's all. We don't want to learn about cars. If something happens to my car, I call the garage and I say, my heat went out. When can I get it in? We don't have any openings this week. How about next week? All right. What do you have open? Well, you name a time. I'm like, all right, let's do Monday. What time do you want? Mid-morning. Well, what time? Mid-morning. How about 10? Okay. Well, we don't have 10. You just ask me any day, any time. How about 9:15? Okay, 9:15. I said mid-morning. That's fine. I'll just drop the damn car off. Thank you. Goodbye. John rented a midsize yesterday, and they rolled out an Excursion. I asked the bro, who's paying for the gas on this? Rental evolution. There you go. Evolves from a midsize to a gas-guzzling Excursion. Brian says, learning new things is a bad idea when you admit you don't know something. Stick to the channels about how great Idaho is. Oh, another slam on Idaho. Idaho. How many Gaylords fit in an Avenger? Oh, man. Not less than one would have fit in a Dodge Avenger. It was a cool car, man. I mean, when you're 20, 21 years old in what year was that? 2001, 2? That was a slick looking car. Had the removable faceplate stereo with the funky like bars and graphs. So at night it was all lit up and sunroof. It was a good car. Got me from point A to... See, I cared more. Back then, I didn't care that it was a lemon. I just cared that it looked cool. Like, I want a car... Like, I wouldn't have driven a Ford Explorer in college because I wanted to look cool. Well, I wanted my car to... I didn't look cool, but the car looks cool. Cooter says, have one Ford we have driven for 11 years, one for 14 and one for 40 years. Ah, the Mustang. Mine, my Ford Explorer lasted about 12 years, I think. call it 2003 to 2013. That's only 10 years. So I guess I got 10 years out of it. And then I leased one. Oh no, the Escape. I didn't have the Escape long because I didn't like it. It was too small. And then I had 3-year lease, and then I've had this one for, gosh, how long has it been for this one? Was it before COVID? I can't remember. Brian's in the house. Good morning. We're going to get to the car. We're going to talk cars here in the chat, and then we'll go back to the top and get to the rest of the stuff. Max doesn't give a fuck about vehicles. They are all the same to me. I don't have time to waste watching a channel about something I don't give a shit about. See, that'd be like me watching Pokemon videos. Like, I don't want to watch Pokemon videos. I don't give a fuck about Pokemon. Nor do I give a fuck about cars. So I don't want to watch car videos either. Steel cards. So it looks like my Ford Edge Heat, $46, but I did it myself. I wouldn't even know what the fuck to do. How did you fix it yourself? So I'm looking at anywhere between $46 and $1,500. All right. I'm hoping I'm with steel cards, but he had to do it himself, so I'm going to be paying some labor on mine. $500? I'd be okay with $500. Okay. All right, let's just go back to the top of the chat. I'm going to do a little show and tell on Goodwill pallet finds. We're going to talk a little Goodwill pallet finds. All the shit behind me. There's actually some cool. I thought I put those in a box, put them away. But anyway, let's go to the chat. Hit the like button, by the way. Andy Mac, if you want. You don't have to. Andy Mac, good morning. Bargain Boxers in the house. Let's go. Hey, are you coming to Chicago this weekend? I will be at the Spectacular. I'll get in Saturday afternoon, but you'll find me at a bargain box. I'll be sitting and digging probably on Saturday afternoon. And then I'll be set up on Sunday with my cheapy quarter boxes. Brian's here. What's up? Good day. Philly Joe is here. Good morning. Steel Cards in the house. What's happening? Red Light 34. Good morning. Kyle, what's happening? Looked like a good pallet. Well, I'll talk about that. Herman's in the house. Good morning. Peter is here. What's happening? David, good morning. Todd, good morning. Thanks for the great auction deals last night. Holy hell, man. There was some good auctions. If you are not watching my auctions, Todd was smart, and he was taking advantage of some great deals. Like, everything went for 99 cents last night. Some good stuff went for 99 cents. So make sure, bookmark, follow, pay attention, put bids in on my auctions, because sometimes you're going to get steals and deals. 99centcards.com, 7 or more at regular price on the buy it now section. You'll save 25% off at checkout. There are auctions ending tonight. I think tonight's kind of a mishmash of various auctions. Last night I added lots. If you're into Heritage Minor Leagues, there's player lots of like 12 to 15 cards, I think. like 177 player lots went up for auction last night. And Ryan Sandberg. I was going to list buy it now on Sandberg. And then I realized the last time I listed a bunch of Ryan Sandbergs, there were like 3 or 4 that were like $20 to $30 cards. And I admittedly, I don't know the same. Like I'm not an expert on Cubs cards. But I'm like, I'm just going to roll these at auction, and what doesn't sell, I'll put in my store as a buy it now, which has come in really handy. I've moved Sandberg well. So it's like, okay, we'll put these at auction. If they sell for 99 cents, they sell for 99 cents. Otherwise, they might sell for more. And if they don't, put them in the store for $2, $1.75, and they'll likely move. So that's where I'm at on that. So thank you, Todd, for taking advantage of those auction deals last night. More to come tonight. I've got auctions ending every night this week. I won't have auctions. So starting today, there will not be auctions starting. We're going to take a break because of Thanksgiving and Black Friday. There may or may not be a big Black Friday sale next week. So hint, hint. So look out for that. Victor, good morning. Cold and waiting for some light snow. Well, we got some snow, so it's headed your way. Red light 34, it's snowing there. So it's snowing. Well, it was snowing in Madison, in Wisconsin. It's snowing in Indiana, and they're waiting for snow in Chicago. John says, eBay says my package is stuck in Middleton. Can you go there and see what's up? Absolutely. Let me put this on pause, and I'll head there now. Let's see. There you go. Oh, we talked about Brian in the Fords. Low Roller says, Bitcoin hit 98,000. 2K to go to hit 100K. Low Roller says he's ahead in the Bitcoin prediction. 100K by the end of the year. And he thinks $1 million Bitcoins will happen in our lifetime. So I'm yawning because, unfortunately, my wife's grandma fell last night at like 10:30 last night. And so my wife had to go, and I think she had to let the paramedics in. Had to go to the hospital. So my wife was at the hospital with her grandma. When she got back, it was like midnight, 12:30. Ernie is like, wants to play, like thinks it's morning. So Ernie was keeping us up. So I did not get much sleep. Did not get good sleep. So I slept in a little bit this morning. So I'm tired. I got shitty sleep. I'm yawning. And that's why it is. So, oh, fuck. And I didn't take Ernie out. Unless my wife is just taking him out now. I don't know. But Ernie was sleeping, and I'm like, let him sleep. He just went out at midnight. Where we at? T206 kid says 1,500 when his heat and AC went out last year. They had to remove the dash and change some below motor. Oh, man. I have a feeling that's probably what I'm looking at. But I think the AC works. Although I probably haven't used the AC in a while either. Of course, it could have just went out, and I just haven't tested it because I just noticed it yesterday, 2 days ago, maybe. Mr. Archer, good morning. Vehicle is a vehicle. Okay, we talked about the car stuff. Tracy says, good morning. Vacation begins at 4 p.m. today. Nice 8-day cruise coming up. Very nice. Where is the cruise? Jody's here. What's up? Good morning. Let's see. Where are we at? We got Brian in the house. What's happening? Dan is here. What's going on? It's 37 in South Korea. Max says, first day you actually might need the heat today, and your heat is out. I know, right? Like I haven't needed it, and now it's out. And I'm going to be driving to Chicago on Saturday with no heat, but the seat warmer works. So at least my butt and back will be warm, and the rest I'll be cold. But I mean, I'll be driving. It's not like I'm driving like at night. So I'll be okay. But like when I drive to Chicago, it should be okay because it's like during the day. I know it's going to be in the 30s or 40s, but should be okay. I hope. It's 2 hours. Like I can suck it up for 2 hours. And then like in the morning, it might be cold in the morning, but I'll have coffee keeping me warm. So I'll be okay. Although the drive home might be cold because it will be like in the evening. I don't know, but I'll deal with it. I'll be okay. Mark says, bring your winter jacket to Chicago. I'm here and it's cold. Oh yeah, Mark's at the Spectacular. Yeah, it's cold. Winter is here. It's 29 in Indiana. Snow in Illinois. Victor's the only place. Chicago's the only place it's not snowing. Champaign is getting snow. Madison. Can't remember where Mike's at. Where Cooter. I'm reading Cooter. Where Red Light's at. Cooter's got a 2010 F-150 Lariat. Is it Lariat? Lariat. Or is it Lariat? Let's see. Max, I don't mind barbecue, but it's all the same. I disagree. That barbecue I had in Texas, fuck. Like Kansas City and Memphis barbecue make any barbecue you get around here like, oh, this is barbecue. And then Texas like one-upped. And I'm like, fuck Texas barbecue. It's probably like Famous Dave's, Max. Nope. It was excellent. Mikey, what's up? He's running a 50% off sale in his eBay store. Tracy says, oh my, all the same. I don't know what that was in reference to. Max says, get a Toyota because the heat never goes out on those, I've heard. They also have tires that last the lifetime of the vehicle, and you only need to fill the tank with gas once a year. There you go. Costco has heated vests? Really? I'm going to be okay. It's this weekend only. When am I ever going to use a heat? Well, I guess I'll probably be having to snow blow my driveway. A heated vest might come in handy, I guess. Brian says, us normies should not care about cars. They lose value as soon as you leave the lot and only depreciate in value. You only put money in and never get money back. A car should just be a car. That's how I think. That's what I think. It's just a car. It's just a car. I don't care. Do I appreciate nice cars? Absolutely. Do I want to pay for nice cars? No. Good morning, Johnny M. Currently driving a 98. Buicks last forever. They are tanks. I had a classmate, and so there was, he was the youngest of four brothers, and they had like a Buick, and it was probably like an late 80s like Buick LeSabre or something that lasted like, I mean, it had like 400,000 miles. They hit multiple deer. I mean, this thing was beat to shit, and it kept running. That Buick lasted forever. Buicks last forever. And they're comfortable. Buicks are a really comfortable car. Johnny's driving a 98 Buick Regal. Bought it 3 years ago for $2,800. Got 110K miles on it. Hate spending money on a car to get me to point B, but I'm shopping for a new Elantra now. Yeah, that's how I think. It's like, it's a car. A car's a car. I don't need to look good in a car. I'm not 22 anymore. I don't need that fancy Dodge Avenger. Just give me a car that I can put a bunch of baseball cards in the back. Andy Max says, I currently drive a 2008 Honda Odyssey minivan. Now that's something I don't have kids. We're not going to have kids. We don't want kids. Minivan. We are anti-minivan. Even if we had kids, we would be anti-minivan. Like, nope. So I respect the minivan, Andy. Haven't changed the oil in years because it burns and leaks so much. I just add more in. One of the sliding doors falls off if opened. AC is broken. I take it Andy doesn't really care about cars either. As long as they get you to point A to point B, barely, it all works. Scott is here. Good morning. Max says, hear it weekly. Here, LOL. But nobody drives cars here. It's all trucks. But yeah, probably much less still. Andy says, but it's paid off and running. Therefore, I don't get rid of it. Oh, yeah. That's the best. The car debate is like the cell phone debate with old people. I just need something that calls, they would say. That's a really good point. Now that I think of it. My dad, when he got my dad was, man, I think he was sick he had cancer, and he was maybe like 8 months, like a lot of footsteps upstairs. What's going on? And he was getting a cell phone, and he's like, I just want a phone that makes calls. I don't need the internet. I don't need to take pictures. He's like, I don't need to text. And then I don't need to text. So he gets the cell phone, and he's like, then all of a sudden his mood changes a little bit. He's like, can I text on this? I'm like, yeah, Dad. Every cell phone since like 2000 has been able to text. And it's 2016 at that time. He's like, oh, has it got a camera on it? I'm like, yep. Kind of the same. Like the last 15 years, you've been able to take pictures on all cell phones. Huh. He's like, I don't want the internet though. I'm like, well, it's got the internet. So if you decide to get on the internet, it's got that too. John says they even make unisex heated vests if you're on the fence. On the fence in which capacity? Zach says cars are like PTACs. Most of the cars come from the same factory in China. Where's Donald Davis? He can change oil. Odd merchants in the house. I had a buddy tell me it's not a sport unless it has a motor. I don't know if I agree with that. Kyle says, how much of your dad's day was devoted to monkey wrenching on his truck and gun cleaning? Like all of his days. All of his days. He was always tinkering in his shop. John says, focus on things that make you happy. The other 22 hours a day, you aren't in the car. Amen. Like bookers and blow. Hookers. Damn. I love how sarcastic this chat is. It's the best way to start a day. No sarcasm in that statement. I'm not sure there's enough car in the world to make you look cool. Not me. Other people probably would look cool in a car, but not me. Just fact checking. But I thought when I was 22, I thought that I could look cool if I had a cool car. That was not the case. I learned that. Car payments, keeping people stuck in the middle class as the car companies colluded to remove cost-effective cards from the market. Get a car that gets you from A to B, then invest that money in Bitcoin. There you go. John leases my Jeep. I don't like buying tires, brakes, and doohickeys. That is the good thing about leases. That is really nice about leases. T206 Kid says, still driving my 2010 Nissan Sentra. Almost 15 years I had it, and it's still relatively running well. Very nice. Might be a fuse or a tumor. Could be. Odd Merchant says, best car I ever owned was a 2000 Chevy Cavalier from a salvage yard for $600. Drove it for 2 years. Only scheduled oil changes and sold it for $1,000. Great in gas too. Hey, that's a good investment. My first car was a 1989 Pontiac Sunbird. And I beat the hell out of that car. I only had it for, when did I get my Dodge Avenger? I got my Dodge Avenger when I went to school, like right before I went to college. So 3 years maybe. I ripped the back seat. I ripped I wanted, you know how fold down seats? Like I wanted that in my car so I could access the trunk. So I cut the back seat so I could have removable seat. It worked. My dad was not happy when he found that, and I sold it. So it was my mom's car, and so my parents wanted to teach me about car payments and being responsible, and so I think they charged me like $900 for this Pontiac Sunbird. I had to make payments of like $100 a month. And then I ended up selling it for like 400 or maybe 600. It's like, damn, I got 3 years worth of car out of it and even got some money back at the end of the day. Only ended up paying 300 for it. Brian says it's a hypothetical dipshit. It's called situational awareness, as in, if you want to learn something about X, here's a channel about it. Fuck, do I need to spell it out for you? John says next Tuesday's auction is bidding on the Thompson car heater contract. Victor says the rookie card specialist, what's up? All this stop and go traffic in the Chicago region should keep them feet warm. There you go. Hopefully I don't have any stop and go traffic to Rosemont. Hopefully there's no stop and go on the expressway. Max says you'll miss me by a day. Madison today, Chicago tomorrow, Green Bay Saturday. So what do I got going on? Madison today. What is today? Today's Thursday. Madison tomorrow. Chicago Saturday. Chicago Sunday. Bargain Boxer is going to be there tomorrow. Well, I'll miss you by a day. Tracy says to Odd Merchants, loved the Chevy Cavalier I had. I wish they still made them. Yeah, like half my class had a Cavalier. What else was the Beretta? That was a cool car in 1997. Grand Ams were big. What the hell else? Good morning, Stoop. Zach says, Bo, if you die tomorrow, what is Amy doing with your cards? Do you have a plan? I'm worried. John is too. That was part of our conversation with our financial advisor this week. So that's actually in the works. John says, just want Amy to ship my cards. Hey, they're in Middleton. They're in possession of the USPS. You'll get your damn cards, John. That's the extent of my concern. How much Bitcoin does LRS own? That is a good question. I thought you were yawning because you were watching a car video on YouTube, but I'd be yawning even more if I was watching a car video. It's like, oh my God. Like, take me back to like when I was growing up and I had to watch This Old House with Bob Vila and Road and Track or whatever came on after Bob Vila on PBS. Like, oh my God, Dad, we only had one TV. That might have had two TVs, but I don't want to watch this. Heater core, says Odd Merchants. That sounds expensive. John says heater fuse. That sounds less expensive. Fuses are pretty cheap, I hear. Problem with you Midwesterners is you live too long. I haven't had parents or grandparents to worry about since the 90s. My grandparents all passed away early. My dad didn't live that long. He was 70. I guess he was older when I was born. Because I think he was like 40. No, he was 42 when I was born. So, he lived to be 76, which is kind of young. Tracy says, dang, I'm looking at your Royals auctions. Too many are ending while I'm in the middle of the ocean. Well, you just got to bid on them now. Just bid now, and you don't have to worry about it. Heater fuse. If it was a Hallmark movie, Bo would have rolled that into an old mechanic shop where the owner has a widowed daughter who works the front desk, played by Lacey Chabert. You know the rest. Tracy says cruise is the Eastern Caribbean, St. Thomas, St. Martin. Very nice. John says, have we thought that Bo might not know where the heater button is to smash? Come on. I know where the heater button is. Smash that heater button to heat. Just bang on like an old tube TV. Just to get the picture, you just have to hit the sides of it. Is that what you have to do when the heater goes out in your car? Just bang on the dash? Like, come on, heat, work. I'm figuring the little yellow light on the AC button is illuminated. All of the buttons are illuminated. Well, not all of them, but when you press the buttons, they become illuminated. When you press the heat button, it illuminates. When you press the AC button, it illuminates. Now, the air that comes out of the vents, I haven't checked the AC, but at least with the heat, it is not warm air coming out. Odd Merchants, just have a bottle of some blackberry brandy or some snowshoe grog in the glove compartment. That'll keep you warm. Bargain Boxer went to St. Thomas when I was in the Marine Corps. Very nice. We did a barbecue crawl when we went back to KC this summer. Loved each of the 5 restaurants we tried. There's some, there's some Gates. What's Arthur Bryant's? Those are the 2 that I know. Kokomo, Indiana. Oh, Kokomo, like the song. Was that the Beach Boys? Riblets ain't BBQ. Have to go to Hutchins before you say all barbecue is the same. That's where I went. That's where Cooter and I went. It ain't the same, man. Oh, Hutchins. Number 1 by a mile. Andy Mack says, I have a built-in heated vest around my midsection. There you go. Prepare to be colder this winter with your weight loss. That's a good point. I don't have that extra cushion anymore. John says, cars have a lot in common with a case of Allen and Ginter in regards to value retention. That is true. I did, I can download. So when I last downloaded my report, I was at 1,700 in gross sales, which obviously is not my net. And 1,700 is not where I want to be. So I'm guessing since then I've maybe added a couple $100, maybe at 1,900, which is still not a good. It's still a loss. So Allen and Ginter case was not a win. Michael Renicky, good morning. Royals 417. Last night, I saw a screening of the Diamond King movie at the NLBM, the Negro League Baseball Museum. Dick Perez was there to answer questions. Great story about how much more than just the creation of cards. Oh, very nice. Mikey says, I have a business Facebook page now. Do you have any tips on building a social media presence? No. Just do it. I will say, when you have, I'm gonna tell you one thing to avoid and one thing that can increase your presence. The one thing to avoid, if you have a business Facebook in the card selling space, don't just post your items for sale. Don't just, here's my eBay store. Here's what I have today. Here's what I have today. There's got to be content. There's got to be substance to it, because that's an early mistake I made when I got into the trading card social media space, where I was just like spamming my Twitter feed. Like, here's new items. And nobody wants to see that. If you sprinkle it in, now, do I do that? Yes, absolutely. Because you need to drive people. Do I talk about 99centcards.com? Absolutely. But you've got to sprinkle in content about barbecue and cars or whatever else. So there's got to be content. So I guess that's what to do and what not to do. Don't spam. You got to sprinkle it in around other content. Put cool, unique, the funniest thing on like Twitter, you could post like a $10,000 card, whatever it might be, a Ted Williams card, and you'll get a little bit of engagement. You can post a 1990 Topps Kevin Moss. I don't think he was in Topps. 90 Upper Deck Kevin Moss. And that thing will get so much engagement. So just knowing what, and sometimes you got to experience, sometimes you experiment, and there'll be tweets that I put out there, and I haven't been tweeting that much lately. There'll be stuff you put out there, and that's my main, I don't do Facebook that much. And it's like, oh, this is going to get a lot of engagement, and it just doesn't do well at all. And then I'll be like, I'm just going to, I've got this card. I'm going to tweet a picture of it. And then all of a sudden, like, everybody comes out of the woodwork. Like, holy shit. So those would be my tips. Put out content that's valuable. I don't do Facebook, so I don't really know how to build a presence on Facebook. Twitter's easy, but Facebook is a little trickier. Royals 417 says, many cameos from the YouTube card community. Very nice. That dude from Duryea, what's going on? Unicorn Cupcake is here. Mikey says, I've had some great deals in your eBay store. Got an 86 Topps Joe Montana, $2. Check it out, 99centcards.com. Steals and deals. Todd got some great basketball cards, 99 cents a piece. Mikey got an 86 Topps Joe Montana. Auction's ending tonight. Make sure to get those bids in so you don't miss out. Johnny M says, I'm 64 and buy the newest iPhone every year. I sell the old one and get 80% of my money back. Wow, nice. Ty Wilson is the guy to reach out to, Mikey. There you go. There you go. Unicorn Cupcake says, my mom still has a flip phone. She bought a smartphone and was actually crying because she couldn't figure it out. She went back to the flip phone. I guess, yeah, it can be overwhelming. Corey Garcia, good morning. I'm having a great morning. Thank you. Mikey says, very true, John. I do have his number. There you go. Zach says, oh, Lord. That dude from Duryea says, your lease covers wear and tear items. I have Jeep Grand Cherokee, but don't think that's included. This is not a lease. I just bought this one outright. So no more lease. It probably would have been. Covered under a lease, but nope, my car now is not a lease. There you go. Mikey wants to be on John's channel. That's a good idea, John. You can leverage Mikey for some of your content. Put him on your YouTube channel. Uncle Rich, good morning. Bargain Boxer says, Max, come up and say hi to me tomorrow. I'll be the old dude with the rolling luggage. There you go. Gruber. No, I know two collectors with rolling luggage, Gruber and the Bargain Boxer. They are not the same. In Chicago. John says, of course, a lease covers wear and tear. You think they expect you to return the car with everything restored. Read before you sign. Mikey likes the cold. My son borrows my Jeep. I get in and it's dialed over to heat and the AC is on. Do they not teach this shit in college? Dude in charge of the books for 8 IKEA stores, but can't figure out climate control in a car. It is tricky. I got to admit, it's tricky. Good thing you don't count time as a liability. Did anyone ask Dick Perez if he had a mentorship program? Mikey, Ty has people he can leverage to help you improve your store. Mikey, lead off with car talk before you ease into the hard sell on large Hall of Fame football player refractors. Facebook is for boomers. Let's see. Royals417 says, actually, John, there was a similar question. Does not surprise me, says John. Uncle Rich says, I've been on John's channel. I was the first guest he showed on YouTube. Now that's some good leveraging. John doesn't even want to be on John's channel. And Rich says, and it's a wonder his show survived after my appearance. And it went downhill after you left. So Goodwill Pallet secured in my possession. I shared some of the contents on Twitter. I'll show some more here. This is just some random stuff. What's fun? This is pretty cool. I've never seen these. There was a bunch of them. Stadium Club, Ken Griffey Jr., but I don't know what these are. Is this some type of insert, or was this? It's from 1994, but this is not a 94 Stadium Club. This must be an insert or something. So this was fun. In Eyes Closed, Eric Davis. And these have some good value. Eric Davis, also Paul O'Neill. And I believe, and I've got to go through, I believe the complete sets are here. This, I don't know if this is 3 complete. There's 3 each of Paul O'Neill and Eric Davis, but I don't know. I'll have to look at the checklist to see if I've got the complete sets. So that might end up being one of my better finds. Let's see. What else? Just some random, there were some random relics. This is Barry Zito, relic, numbered at 200. That's like a 99-cent card at auction, probably. Those. What else? There was a complete set of Donruss football. Of course, some of the value's gone down, but on Anthony Richardson, but it did have a Puka Nacua rated rookie. CJ Stroud rated rookie was in there. So that was nice. This seems to be in like every Goodwill pallet, the old Mark Jackson Menendez brothers, which I do have one on auction right now. So probably put that one up. There was a whole box of WNBA from the late 90s, early 2000s. I think these are from 2000. The Sam Vincent, Michael Jordan in the foreground. Let's see. John and Uncle Rich may help me with this. I'm guessing this is a Milk Duds. I do not have this, so this was a fun find. There was some vintage Cubs. This might be Milk Duds. Does anybody know what this is from? NL All-Star 1970, Don Kessinger. I think this is a Milk Dud. There was another non-Cub in here as well. Some vintage basketball. Okay, Uncle Rich, 71 Milk Duds. Excellent. I'm going to log that on Trading Card Database. This is a Dr. J, but it's in beat-up condition. Here's a Bill Walton. A little better condition. This is actually in pretty nice shape. Tony Oliva, 1966. I get the mid-60s throw me off. This might be the best card I pulled. This is from 1976. This is the Twinkies version of John's all-time favorite player in a very erotic pose, Steve Garvey. There's also a Johnny Bench, beat up. Let's see. I don't know how that got in there. I got excited when I saw this, but then I got less excited when I saw the black box. Billy Ripken 89 Fleer, but it's the black box version. Here's a beater, 78 Topps, Walter Payton. I think I'm going to give this to my cousin. He's coming up to the card show next week. I've got a box of Bears cards for him. Just an awesome name. Dick Post. Here's a couple. These are actually in really sharp condition. 83 Topps, Terry Bradshaw. Here's a Joe Montana from 83. Here's a Kareem. It's not too beat up. And how about this? This might be the best card that I found and probably will find. Now, it's beat up, but it's still a Joe Montana rookie card. It's really good centering, but the corners are beat up. The edges are bad. I don't think there's any creases on it. Just like a hairline crease. There's some surface creasing up there. But, hey, still a Joe Montana rookie. So that's probably going to go up for auction. And I was probably most excited with the Don Kessinger Milk Duds because I don't have it. But also because I don't think I have these. And they're from 1988 Topps. There's Sandberg on top. But it's the Tiffany. Looks like a complete 1988 Topps Tiffany Cubs set, which I don't think I have. I do now. Another good find. I actually like when there's like random magazines. Now, magazines and publications don't sell well, but it's still fun, and I like to look through it. But this is from 1973, Your Guide to Monday Night Football. So this is pretty cool. It just has like previews of like each game that's going to be on Monday Night Football, Redskins, Steelers, George Allen and Chuck Noll. So that's cool. Kessler Football Fans Guide, 1969. Smooth as silk. Kessler, winning fans everywhere. I haven't opened this up. So that's... Oh, wow, this is college. It's got every schedule in college. I wonder if it's got Western Illinois in here. It's got Wayne State. Western Illinois is not in here. It's got Wooster College and Wittenberg University, but no Western Illinois. It's got Western Michigan. How come Western Illinois is not in here? Wayne State, 31-32. Huh, no Western. And then it's got the scores from the previous year. It's got Willamette University. That's crazy. And then an old Baseball Digest from 1967. So those are always some fun finds. So that's what I found so far. I think this is going to be one of my worst pallets. Like, yeah, you look, Joe Montana rookie, it's beat up. Cedar Rapids Red Sets, Milk Duds Kessinger, but there's a lot of junk. Like, I'm opening up box after box of 88 tops, 91 upper deck, like stuff that I'm not even going through. Like, it may be a complete set of 88 tops and 91 upper deck. It's going straight to the storage unit and it's going to be sold in bulk. That stuff, that the junkiest of the 90 Fleer, 90 Donruss. There was a box of unopened packs of 90 Donruss. Those actually sell well at even junk like that, sell well at card shows. So I'll probably do packs at some point, which I don't often see unopened packs in Goodwill pallets. I think they typically usually sell those some other way. So it was rare to see that, but a lot of junk in here. A lot of this stuff's going to be going to the storage unit. Some of it will be thrown away. Not as much like garbage bags. Like sometimes there'll be like Walmart bags of cards and garbage bags of cards. I think there's only like one, maybe two bags of like cards that are just laying around. I still have to go through just in case there's something in there, but yeah, I think this is going to be one of the worst pallets. Definitely in the bottom half, at least so far. Now, there might be some boxes that it's like, oh, hey, this turned around, but at least scratching the surface, this is going to be one of the weaker pallets that I pulled. And I was hoping, my hope was, I felt like there was still going to be boxes left over from the donator of the Trout box, because there was at least two of the pallets had a lot of that stuff, and maybe even the start of the third pallet ago. And I thought there still might be some leftover stuff, and I don't think there is. This looks like what is typically in a Goodwill pallet, where you're going to find some cool stuff, but there's going to be a lot of junk in here as well, and that's kind of where it is. All right, so that's what I had. Let's go get to the last few chats. We got to go way up here. Let's see. Max says, Randy, I have a roller too. We should start a meetup for us to make us feel better. I'll try to look for you. I'll be in some sort of Rapids t-shirt. There you go. Tracy says, have a great Thanksgiving. Just in case I don't catch the show tomorrow, see you all again in December. Have a safe trip. Enjoy vacation. And don't forget to bid on those Royals. Unicorn Cupcake says, I think that was a Topps insert. Oh, okay, on the stadium clubs. Yeah, I've got to look those up. There was a small pile of them. John says, you need to buy a pallet jack. It's a cool thing to have. Also a cool thing to say. You don't have to actually use it. I do not want a pallet jack. Paul O'Neill, very popular in New York. Stuck on a plane with Eagles fans headed to the game in L.A. Hell. John, you could be on a plane to Dallas with Eagles fans, or you could be on a plane full of Cowboys fans. That's even worse. Is that the preview card included in factory sets? Oh, that could be. Rich says, that sounds like one of the better pallets. 1971 Milk Duds. John says, I need those cards. I have a full Fergie Milk Dud box. Oh, nice. I ripped off a Christian to get it. Such easy marks. Garvey Prison Series. Lose those Hostess cards. Lose them? Why should I lose them? Victor wants to know, have I listed any new Cub cards on Collects? No, I've not listed anything on Collects in a while. So I have kind of neglected my Collects listing. I've been really focused on eBay and auctions and and all that, which I may do a video, and I'll probably do it separately because I am considering scaling up to the anchor store again. But there's different reasons behind it, and I'm going to share that probably in a separate video because I've got math involved and numbers, so I may do a separate video, and most of you probably don't care. But I am thinking about an anchor store. Not in the near future. Well, actually, yeah, kind of in the near future, I guess. It just depends. It depends. I've got to run more experiments, I guess. Rich says that's still $15 to $25 card. Oh, on the Montana. Yeah, I wonder what a poor condition Montana does go for. I haven't even looked this up. 81 Tops, Joe Montana. Let's share the screen so you can see. It annoys me so much when I watch YouTube content and they're like talking about my favorite card is the 1981 Tops Joe Montana. Now, I know what that card looks like, but like if it's a random card, I want to see it. And they're just like talking about it. It's like, this is YouTube. At least share the screen or show the damn card. All right. So let's see. We want ungraded. Where's the grade? Graded. We want no. Where's condition? We want poor. Card condition, poor. Greg Morris. Now he gets a premium. Low grade. Went for 80. Mine looks more like this. Mine looks in better condition. Mine's better. Mine's way more centered. It doesn't have creases. And that went for 30. This one, really bad condition, went for 40. Mine kind of looks not as good as this, so it might be 50. This one looks like it's got a crease there. That one looks really good. Mine kind of looks like this one. That one for 100. What the hell? I'm thinking somewhere in the $50 range. But I'm likely going to throw it at auction and see. So it might be 25 throwing it on auction. So where are we at? Rich thinks it's Friday. Let's see. And that's a Cubs card. Oh, were you talking about the Kessinger? On the Kessinger. Rich thinks it's Friday. Bo doing the Garvey pose. Well, tomorrow is Friday, but I'm only here till about 11 today. If that is the year Cosell threw up on Meredith, is that the year that Cosell threw up on Meredith's boots during Monday Night Football? Illinois wasn't even a state yet. Unicorn Cupcake says, I read that wrong. Still funny, though. I think your car needs a new boiler. I just Googled, and that's the most common issue in Model Ts. There you go. Hey, it's a Ford. Brian says, I almost bought this pallet, but the price increased. How did you almost buy it? Because I bought it instantly. It did increase. So this pallet was $750. I think the last one was $600. $650. I think the last one was $650. So after tax, it was $700. So this was almost $800 after tax. So it went up a little bit. Brian's glad he didn't. It's going to be tough to recoup. I think if we can get 50 out of the Montana, if I can get, if those are complete Cedar Rapids red sets, I think those are somewhere in the $75 range. So that's 150, 225, 275. And that's just on a few items. I think I can get back. I mean, every pallet has been profitable. It's just how quickly and how much work goes into getting back to profitability. John says Bo drove up the prices by several $100s over the course of time. Yeah, they have gone up. That's for sure. John tapped out on the Pittsburgh one at 500. I would go 750 is getting close to where it's like, okay, I'm not going to, if it were to go up if it went up to 850, I'd have to, I might have to, like, this one, I didn't even, like, I saw it and boom, and got it. And, if it went to 850, I'd have to take it. Like this one, 750, it's like, oh, price went up, click, buy. But if it went to 850, I think I'd be like, I'd probably look at the pictures, which don't really paint the story. You can kind of get an idea. If you see some newer boxes, like there might be some stuff. But yeah, if it goes 500, I definitely pay more than that. Like obviously I'm paying 750. But more than 750, I'm starting to wonder. I'm starting to question if I should buy it or not. But now, like, and then it becomes the gambling part, because then it's like, well, my last pallet had a Mike Trout first Bowman Chrome Blue Refractor Auto, and you would have paid a lot more than 750 for that. But this pallet, it's like, would I pay more than 750? Well, I'll find out soon enough. But yeah, if it keeps going up, it's like, well, we'll see. Unicorn Cupcake says, auction fiend behavior. He's really changed. I have. And just wait till you hear what I have up my sleeves. Let's see. UC is right on the Griffey. Unicorn Cupcake. And what did he say about it? Unicorn Cupcake said, Tops insert. Where are we at? Mikey says, what do you mean by creating content? What does that look like? Anything. Like, take a picture of a Joe Montana rookie card and be like, this is my favorite card of all time. That's content. Love those Hostess cards. That was a typo. I'm like, lose? What? Why should I lose them? If nothing else, I'll put them in my dollar box or quarter box. I don't want to lose them. Let's see. Unicorn Cupcake says, I do $10 just because it is a rookie. John says, Pittsburgh is 9 hours round trip. I need to buy new tires before I return my lease, so I can't go to 750. So if you are driving 9 hours, that's, I forgot it wasn't just, a closer by. You have to consider drive time, and like that's a full day. Like driving over, driving back, it only takes like 15 minutes to load it up. But I don't know. For me, it might be different at other locations. But yeah, that's a whole day. I think 500 was smart to taking that into consideration. $10 net to me. Oh, my least favorite saying. Net to me. Like, do the fucking math. You're the seller. Do the math. You should market Goodwill pallets and sell them. Outbid your storage unit. Does St. Vinny's do pallets? I don't think so. You can use your new pallet jack. There you go. All right. I got to go get some mushroom coffee. I'm tired. I got some shipping to do. Hey, check out my auctions ending tonight. What do I got ending tonight? Let's go over here. Click on my eBay store. Share this tab. Add it to the stage. So what do we got? So here's a little look at some of the lots that went live last night. 2019 Heritage Miners lots. Auctions ending soon. Here we go. Oh, tonight might be hockey heavy. Is tonight hockey heavy? So we got the Kevin Mawe. Yes, I think tonight's like only hockey. But we got that Fleer Showcase Platinum Medallion. Sidney Crosby, SI for Kids. Man, SI for Kids just do not do well at auction. I cannot believe, like, they do okay, like selling them as a buy it now for singles. Like, they're still kind of a slow mover, but man, auctions just, they go for pennies. I've got some IP autographs, some in-person autos. Craig Mills of the Blackhawks, Remy Royer. We've got some serial numbered hockey cards. Not too many. Oh, we got bids on most of these. Martin St. Pierre. We got some vintage hockey. 71, 72 tops. Is Mike Robitaille, is that Luke Robitaille's dad? This guy looks stoned out of his gourd. Gary Coulter. Kansas City Scouts. More serial numbers, 499 and 499. This guy looks like Grizzly Adams. Bill Flett, Grizzly Adams up there in Toronto. Let's see. More serial numbers, St. Louis Blues. More serials. More vintage. Brad Park. Isn't he a Hall? I think he's a Hall of Famer, Brad Park. 71, 72 tops. Some more 71, 72s. Sidney Crosby, Ice Reps insert with the mascot. Connor McDavid. Young Guns. Apparently these are not good Young Guns because, well, they do have bids. So at least they're going to sell. Dale Haverchuk. He's a Hall of Famer. Phil Esposito, 75, 76. This card, the 2003 Parkhurst Original 6 dual jersey relic, Phil Esposito and Eric Lindros, that was in the same box as the Mike Trout Bowman Chrome Auto. Whatever this set is from, 2003 Parkhurst, half the box or 75% of the box was this hockey set. And then there was a small pile of 2009 Bowman Chrome. And the Trout was in this same box. So it's got a little sentimentality, but it's going to the highest bidder tonight. So there you go. There's some auctions ending tonight over at 99centcards.com. Bid now, bid often, and win some stuff. Snort the shrooms quicker into your system. You could do that because it is a powder. It is a powder. Mushroom enema is quicker. Ooh. John loves vintage hockey. Robitaille is a common name in Quebec. Really? I learned something new today without watching a YouTube video on cars. Zach needs to check which 71-72 hockey I need. Make sure you're jockeying OPC. What's that mean? All right. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, bid on my auctions, 99centcards.com. Over in the buy it now section, save 25% off when you buy 7 or more cards. Dat Dude from Duryea says, I think SI kids cards got the love during COVID. Never bought the hype myself. Not a fan. They've had, I think they probably blew up a little more like everything else did during COVID, but there's always been this like trickle down with SI for kids because of the hype around Tiger Woods. What else? What are the big SI for kids cards? Tiger Woods. Mia Hamm goes for big money. I think maybe Tony Hawk. But hockey isn't OPC. Do I have something listed as OPC? This is OPC, the Dale Haverchuk. All of these should be listed correctly. Tops, 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 tops. Yeah, they're all marked correctly. I don't know if that's what you were saying. Oh, Serena Williams. Yes, Serena Williams is another SI for kids card that sells. And then modern day, Victor Wembanyama, Caitlin Clark. Oh, yeah. I did check, yeah. Because I've had issues in the past where I just throw them in Cardi the Pro, and then they're like, this isn't tops, or this isn't OPG, this is the tops. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, yeah, these are correct. All of them are correct. That 82, 83 is really easy because it says OPG on the front. The rest, you have to look at the bottom. Airline censoring my pose. So that's what I had for today. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, visit my eBay store. We'll do this again tomorrow, and we play a new round of Name That Player. So we start a new game tomorrow morning on the Free For All Friday. So join us tomorrow morning. I'll try to be on time tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central. If you're, I guess it's only Thursday, so you're not. Well, Mark's in Chicago already, so I need to find Mark on Saturday. Anybody else? I'll be there Saturday and Sunday. So bilingual is the OPC giveaway. Yes, OPC sounds. I gotta say OPG. All right. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central. Bye bye.